Gentlemen, welcome to Better Bachelor. Let's do a sound check real quick. Make sure you guys can hear me okay. I'm filming at 60 frames per second, but I notice already you're probably only seeing this at 30, so I may look a little jumpy around here. Okay, so I got about 70 of you in here, so a very private, quiet stream. I may actually put this up on Rumble and YouTube because I have so much to cover that kind of covers all my channels, and I thought it'd be important. First update on the family. My father is, as you know, dementia, Parkinson's. He's gone to the hospital for a few times for like a stroke slash epileptic thing where he's falling over and having problems. And I went down to Florida, visited him. He's not out of the woods. I mean, Parkinson's and dementia is a one-way street. So it's Alzheimer's, I guess you could call it. He's fallen over a couple of times. He had to get staples in his head, but he's a stubborn old man. And I have we've got nurses coming in 3 times a week, physical therapist 2 times a week, something like that, or vice versa, and a doctor coming in once a week. And we may end. I told my mom, hey, if you need somebody to help get him up physically out of bed in the morning, and get him cleaned up in bathroom and all that stuff, hire somebody to do it. Like I don't know what kind of nurse does that, but get a big burly dude to come in and lift him. He only weighs about 120 pounds now. He used to be about 5'10", 5'11". Now he's like my height. He's Joker sized. He's like 5'6", and he only weighs about 120 pounds. So I said, get a big burly dude to carry him in and, shower him up and all that stuff. Cause he's mentally sound when he's not having his issues. And so he doesn't want to go to a home, obviously, and he wants to stay in his house. So I don't blame him there. So I told my mom, hey, do it. So you guys that are supporting me here on Locals, and for those of you that even just watch my channels on YouTube where I'm monetized, although that apparently is changing, you guys are paying for this stuff. So thank you very much. You're doing. I love you guys for helping me take care of my family, and I really appreciate it. Okay, some quick updates here, and let me bring up my screen overlay, and I'll move this out, my live chat out. Okay, so quick updates here. So on the screen here, you see a video. And this is not reversed for you guys, is it? Because for me, it always shows reversed. Looks normal to you guys, right? In the chat, looks normal. Okay, so here you see the number of subscribers, and I've said, you know something, I haven't my channel is not growing anymore at all. It's flatlined. Last year, I think I had close to 250,000 subs. And this year I've had 85,000 subs. But over the last month, it hasn't moved. So this is the live count of my, the live count of my subscribers. Now let me be clear about something. This is not a complaint. I am not complaining about this. I knew this would probably happen to me at some point on YouTube. As of this morning, Steven Crowder has been banned. And whether you like Steven Crowder or not on YouTube, he's a conservative. He had I don't know, 6, 8, 10 million subs. I don't know how many subs he had. He's been banned off of YouTube as of this morning. I want you to look at my live count. So this is 10 minutes of live count subscriber, but I compressed it down to 30 seconds. Check this out. So I start at 355, 878 for subs. This is my sub count. And it goes from, for those of you just listening, it's going from 78, 79, 80, 81. Oh, we're making progress. 80. 81. We're doing progress. 80. Then 79 and 78 and 79. So it did this, and I watched it, and then I went and did some other work, and I came back to it, and I took a screenshot. This was 3 hours later. 864. So I was backwards 15 subs. and then I looked here this morning, and I was back to 877. So in one day, even though you could see the counter was going up at a pretty decent rate, this morning I'm right back to where I was before. So I'm not sure what's going on. Now, here's the thing. I've done the same content for 2 years, and I think the average lifespan of a YouTuber is about 3 years. So it could be that a lot of people are just getting bored of my content. They're like, seen it, heard it. I know what it's all about. And that's okay. But it's really strange though that the sub rate is the same as the unsub rate, and it's kind of weird. I did check it some of my videos, and I can look at each video. And when someone watches a video on YouTube and that's the one they subscribe to, it'll show that on that video. So when I did the Fresh and Fit controversy, I got plus 300 subs, and every other video that I've put out this week shows a plus in the sub count. But then when you look at my total, it's the same. So I don't know if they're unsubbing you guys or that kind of thing. So make sure to check that out if they are. And again, I'm not going to complain. I will do my videos forever for you 355,000 subs. I'll go forever. Like you guys, for someone to complain because they have more than 250,000 subs, that would be ridiculous. So I will always do my work for you guys. And I just say, hey, again, the best way to support me is just check out my work. Even if it's not always an exciting topic, look in there because, there's always something to be learned from some of them. An update here, you'll see here, Rumble, when they merged with Locals, because I am a member of Locals, you'll see up here this Locals button on Rumble where from Rumble, you can click it and it'll give you, it'll tell you how many members. We've got 44,000. How many comments? 166,000 posts, 24,000 posts. And that ain't me. That's you guys. And likes 700. So it does show the statistics of my channel on there. So I'm pushing Rumble again, and I had to rechange it. So all my videos are gone from it. But I resynced it up, and I've only got 7 subscribers over there now. Once I have 100 subs, I can get the Rumble/C/Better Bachelor. So if you'll just go over there and get me 100 subs real quick so I can get the HTML link for my channel, I would appreciate it. And again, if you're on YouTube or Rumble, hey, join me over on Better Bachelors, .locals.com, because here's the thing. On Locals, I think I put it on a little screen grab here. I've got about 50,000 Manosphere fans. We do live streams like this one. I'm not going to do my live streams on YouTube. Yes, I miss out on super chats. Don't care. I'm going to do my live stream on Locals. And if I do a different live stream, it'll be on Rumble. It won't be on YouTube, because YouTube is I think kind of putting the hammer down on me. And I've been wanting to get away from there for anyway. Free speech platform on Locals. So you guys can say whatever you want. I do keep it a little bit within reason, but we've got to try to be adults about it. But if you're a socialist that wants to argue with a Democrat, that wants to argue with a Republican, that wants to argue with a neo-Nazi, that wants to argue with a feminist, that wants to argue with a conservative tradcon, like, go ahead. That's what the forums are for. Just go bananas. And I really don't take anything down. The only thing you can't post is spicy pictures. And when I mean spicy, I mean like no clothing. But if you want to post pictures of bikinis, like we've got somebody that posts the hottie of the day, and we've got a meme forum, of course, that most of you guys on Locals know, that has like 4,500 memes, usually centered around silly stuff. And then, of course, my content is put in podcast form, a long form, unedited videos, and movie nights with live chat. That's coming back, by the way. So I know I haven't done that here recently, but the movie nights, I'm going to be doing a movie night this weekend. I haven't decided. I think I'm going to do The Thing, the 1972, I think it is, John Carpenter, The Thing. Because that's my favorite Christmas movie, because it's snowy and it's cold and it's old school non-CGI, like physical stuff. 1980s. Yes, thank you, chat. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And my live stream, if you're watching this on YouTube and or Rumble, you can chat in live stream, but that's on Locals for us over there. So let's move on to a couple of stories here. Thank you for letting me update all of you guys on the stuff, but I got to promote myself elsewhere because, like I said, YouTube is coming for the Joker. All righty. So the first thing I'm going to talk about today is not letting yourself getting trapped in a transitional or transactional relationship. This is by Jenny White over at EV.com. Now, EVmagazine.com, again, is kind of a traditional conservative, like a tradcon woman's thing. And I agree with a lot of what they say, but a lot of times I don't agree with what they say. And this is a case where I agree, but unfortunately they don't understand. And maybe it's because they're kind of traditional women that don't think like the crazies do. Well, they say they're traditional women, I mean, but I do know that the editor is a young woman who is married and has a kid and like has kind of done things traditional. They wrote this, and the first thing I thought to myself is, you know what? All relationships are transactional. They are. And now you can what you want is an equally transactional relationship, but all relationships are transactional. Meaning a guy, even if you go back to the 1950s, or through current times, usually the guy's like, I want the bedroom fun. I want somebody that's going to treat me well. I want someone that's going to respect me. I want someone that's going to be honest with me and not cheat on me and do the right thing. And, maybe if I have a rough day, someone to talk to about it. Although that doesn't always turn out well because most women want their men strong and silent type. And then the women are like, hey, you know what? I want a guy that's going to provide for me. And I want a guy that's going to, take care of me. And if we have a kid, take care of me. Now, even the crazy, progressives that are wanting to go out and sleep and get a body count of 100 and party it up and be party girls and get tattoos on their faces, which I've got a story about here in a bit. They, for some reason, they say, I want to be crazy and wild and just have fun, but I also want my guy to be traditional. And that's not how it works. You can't be a non-traditional woman and expect a guy to be traditional, which I've discussed before. So they say a widespread problem in today's dating landscape where many women are finding themselves neck deep in transactional relationships. They're putting themselves there. Let me be really clear about this. Any woman that's complaining she's in a transactional relationship, she's the one that put herself there. Because 60% of people are meeting now on dating profiles or on dating apps. And the dating profiles they're posting are like them in a little bikini or them in lingerie and them at the bottom with their Cash App and their Snapchat and their OnlyFans links and all this other stuff. And then they're surprised when men are like, I am looking at you as a transaction. Like, of course, you're setting yourself up for that. And if you took two different dating profiles, one of a girl in the lingerie, the lingerie, with her Cash App at the bottom saying, hey, use me as a Chinese finger trap, like the one I did the other day. And next to that, you have a profile where a woman is maybe dressed. Okay, she doesn't need to be dressed like holding the champagne with her head all tilted. But what if she had relatively just light and or moderate makeup? What if she had just normal hair instead of blue spikes on the top of her head and no tattoos or at least small, feminine tattoos that are maybe hidden? And what if she dressed like this? I mean, this is still, if I asked you guys, hey, how many of you guys would ask this girl out on a date? Every one of you that's relatively straight would be like, yeah, she's pretty. Like, yeah, I'd probably take her out on a date. So, but again, this woman, all the women want this guy. They want a good looking, tall, handsome guy that looks great in a suit and is muscular and six pack, blah, 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 blah. But they're not bringing the same stuff to the table. So they say a transactional relationship is inherently self-serving and motivating, which we know is what 90% of relationships today. You know what? Probably be a good idea if I started recording this. I meant to record this so I could put this up on Rumble, and I did not. So we'll just start it from here. And those of you that missed the beginning, locals.com. All right. They say a transactional relationship is inherently self-serving and self-motivated, one where the party deems themselves to be superior and entitled to another person's efforts and investment for little to nothing in return in terms of growth, trust, and loyalty. Where does that sound, or where does that sound, or what does that sound like? Well, that sounds like modern women. How many women are saying they deem themselves to be superior? Let's look at TV, movies, the news, social media. Everything is saying, hey, we women are superior. We women are better. Men stupid. Men fumbly, dumb. We women are smarter. So that's happening everywhere. So the one party is women. They're entitled to another person's efforts and investment. Women are wanting successful men that make six figures, men that drive fancy cars, men that go to the gym and work out and have nice bodies, men that are bringing a lot to the table. And they say for little to nothing in return in terms of growth, trust, and loyalty. Right. Well, what are women bringing to the table that has growth, trust, and loyalty? Nothing, or very little. Let's be honest about that. Very, very little. They say, can any relationship survive on a transactional basis where the unspoken contract implies that the other person is convenient for now and is therefore expendable? And we know a relationship cannot continue that way. But again, when the woman shows up and she says, hey, I really am not bringing much to offer except my sexuality and my looks and my bedroom fun. I don't know how to cook. I don't know how to clean. I don't know how to do anything. I do bring in an income, which most guys are like, yeah, whatever, but so do I. And they say, hey, but you're good enough for now until I meet a taller, more attractive, better, more successful male, and then I'm gone. That's very transactional. Who's on the losing side of these transactions? Most of the time, guys. Unless you're a very popular, good-looking guy. And then you're the winner because the women are the expendable, tossable ones because these guys have so many other choices. I mean, hypergamy is called that for a reason. They say transactional versus transformative. There are two types of relationships, transactional and transformative. A transactional relationship is focused on self-serving interests where a person asks, what are you going to do for me and what will I get out of it? And again, these are the top 10 or 20% of dudes that are like, hey, like, what are you going to do for me, girl? What am I going to get out of it? And if not, I'm going to toss you and just go to the other large selection of women I have. Or a woman is going to say to most average guys or guys that are her level or maybe right around that level, she's saying to him, hey, I've slept with the 9s and 10s. You know, I get all this attention from these dudes. How are you going to win my affection? And you better jump through hoops for it. And so there's kind of this weird pecking order where you have the very top best men. We'll call them the 5%ers or the 10%ers. And all the women down below are chasing after them. And then you've got all the rest of the guys that are not that top percentage kind of looking at the women that are chasing after those men. So it ends up being this weird snake where you got these very, very successful, good-looking, well-to-do guys at the top, all the women chasing them, and then a lot of guys still chasing after the women. And occasionally some of those women start falling out and going for the average guys, but usually we know that's when they can't get a shot at those guys anymore. And this is where I think a lot of guys are learning the tail of the snake is not where you want to be. That is a losing proposition. And so they just tap out. A lot of these guys are just saying, you know what, I tap out. I'm not chasing after these women that are chasing after those men, because the only time they turn around and look at the rest of us is when they can't get those top men anymore. And then they come to us as used goods or as single moms or as 30-somethings with frozen eggs hoping to maybe have a family someday and use my resources to help them raise their kid. Or they're coming around as the single mom saying, hey, deadbeat dad bounced on us and he's out now cavorting around with other women. But I want you to come and help me along. And you'll see that in one of the dating profiles of the day that I pulled out, that's exactly what they're doing. So they say a transactional relationship, we already did that. A transformative relationship is centered around both people asking, how can we help each other and achieve our goals and dreams together for the betterment of us both? That is the tradcon relationship, where the wife brings, the wife brings one thing to the table, the man brings the other, and combined you have a couple. I know that's kind of crazy to think of, but for some reason, in some things, like when giving, if you're talking about like the actual creation of a child, a man gives 5% effort, right? They have their bedroom fun, 5% effort, which turns out to be 100% fun for the men most of the time. And then women have 95% of the effort when it comes to the childbirth, or maybe even 100% of the effort when it comes to the childbirth. But combined, that's 100% effort. Then when you look at the other half of it, you can say, okay, but the guy earns, traditionally, a guy earns 100% of the money, which takes care of the mother that is doing 100% of the mothering at home and the feeding of the child and the diapering so when you add all these sums up, it always comes to 100% in a good relationship. It's just for some things, the women does 100%. For other things, the guy does 100%. And for many of the things in between, there are percentages. But for some reason today, women think, okay, I need to have 100%. I want to be 100% of the mother. I want to be 100% income earner. And I want to be 100% of everything so that if he leaves me or hangs me out to dry, I'm complete, I'm whole, I'm fine. And men say, hey, you know what? If I emotionally invest in this woman and she bails on me, I'm going to have a broken heart. So I'm not going to invest in her at all. I'll just sleep with her and maybe buy her a couple of dinners and hang around with her so I can get the bedroom fun. And what happens is you have people that are just doing the hookup culture and having different forms of it, whether it's pay for play, whether it's friends with benefits, whether it's just casually dating and then one of them gets bored and moves on. And they're going to do this until dating ends. Now, maybe that's the grave. Maybe when it gets to the point where they're too unattractive. I don't know, but this is the way relationships are going. So you guys that are out there that say, I want a traditional wife and I want the kids and I want the picket, it's gone, dude. It's gone. You can find it. You can, but when you start adding up the statistics, the cheating, the patrimony, which I actually have a story on that I'm going to talk about here in a little bit, right here, the patrimony. I mean the paternity. Dear God, the paternity problems, the cheating problems, the divorce problems, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like needle in a needle stack. And you guys hear me say that all the time. It's there, but it's hard to find, and it's really painful to find it. So it says a transactional relationship provides no safety, comfort, or reassurance. English, motherfucker, do you speak it? Reassurance, when the injured party is balancing a tightrope of insecurity and precariousness. Failures and mistakes are some of the fastest ways to determine if a relationship is transactional or transformational. If transactional, then there isn't much room for conflict, messiness, mistakes, because the relationship doesn't have a foundation of loyalty, trust, and protection. And that's the big thing right there, okay? Is that if it's transactional, there's not much room for conflict, messiness, or mistakes. And that's what's happening now. You make a mistake, she's gone. You make a mistake, he's gone. You make a mistake, or you get in an argument, people today just say, oh, you know what, I'll find somebody else to date. And they're still dating you while they swipe. Oh, here's somebody else. I'll talk with him a little bit. We'll go out on a couple dates behind his back. Hey, I like this other dude. And all to the guy or the woman, but, you know, it mostly happens to dudes. To the guy, he's like, she just left me out of nowhere. No, she didn't. They never just leave out of nowhere unless you seriously scared them or hurt them. They leave out of nowhere because they've got a couple of things on the back burner you don't know about that are cooking, and they've been stirring it, and one of them they said, hey, you know what, I like this dinner better than the dinner with you, and they're gone. But because, again, there's no messiness, there's no conflict, there's no mistakes, there's no self-accountability, there's no learning, there's no growing, there's none of that. They just move on. It's so much easier. This is what I'm going to do, and that's exactly what they do. They say these are also known as asymmetrical relationships in which one party overshadows the other, where they're devalued and often exploited. And we know this. The top guys using all the women for the bedroom, those women getting used and then getting angry as if it's all mankind that is at fault, not realizing that the men, the good guys that were like, hey, I'm here, you're invisible to them. They say, we've been together for a while. I have a lot of affection for her, I guess, but I wouldn't say I'm in love. We have good sex, but it's not the kind of sex I could see myself having for the rest of my life. Not that I don't enjoy it. I do. We do. But I don't think that I wouldn't wonder if there were something better out there if we carried on down the path. I think she thinks we're heading down. I don't think I could marry her is what I'm saying, I guess, but I don't think I want to break up with her just now because if I'm honest, I'd prefer to be with her than without her in the meantime. Now, of course, this is a woman's magazine, so you know they're going to write this from the women's perspective. And I've got no hate on that. That's fine. What does that sound like to you? To me, that sounds like a very successful dude that's got options. He's got options. Now, let's reverse it. What's it like for the woman that has options? The woman that says, you know what, I get a lot of validation. I get a lot of attention on social media. Guys always are talking about how attractive they think I am and how awesome they think I am. And so I have options. Doesn't this sound like her? Oh, I'm banging that super Chad. I'm banging this hot guy, but he won't settle down with me. So I'm going to keep my eyes open for another one that might settle down with me. Or when my options start getting fewer and fewer apart, I'm going to settle on a guy that will love me and take care of me and support me and be there for me and my, 3 kids with 2 different dads. And he'll be there for me. And then, but if somebody else better comes along that has more money or I think is hotter or whatever, the more money she'll leave. The hotter she'll cheat on the guy that's providing everything for her. It goes the same way. So this is happening to both guys and girls. And again, what's happening is both, it's kind of like 2 people that have slapped each other a couple times, and now every time somebody raises their hand real quick and jerks it back like that, the other person kind of goes, ugh, because you think a slap's coming. That's how dating is right now. Men and women both think, well, there's a slap coming. He's going to use me and he's going to bail. She's going to use me and she's going to bail. What they use each other for is different. And no one's saying, you know what? Hey, let's give this a shot. Let's ease into this. Let's have fun with this. Nope. Transactional. They say, again, ladies, this is a widespread problem. It's only widespread if you're going against the cream of the crop men. If you're going for an average guy that's got an average job with an average income, who's working hard, that wants a woman that he can trust and love and care for and be close with, he's not like, I got so many options, I'm not going to settle down for now. I got options, babe. That's not how this works. But again, those men are invisible to these women. She says, if a man doesn't want to commit to you and he's not serious about you and he doesn't love you, you must think long and hard about spending any extended period of time with any man cohabitating in prolonged engagements, in situationships, or any instance where he balks at commitment. This is transactional relationship, and it will fail. Okay, now here's what's interesting about this. They say if you spend time with a man for any extended period of time, even if he's your boyfriend, if you're cohabitating with him, you're in prolonged engagements and situationships, but he's balking at further commitment, it's transactional. I disagree. And I'll tell you why I disagree. Because they make it sound like the only way this isn't a transactional relationship is if you marry him. But again, we know the minute a woman marries a man, she holds all the cards when it comes to divorce court, the court system when it comes to child support, taking his money. If she wants to get him in trouble, she can say he did bad things to her. And of course, the law always believes her. So she's making it sound like any relationship where you're not planning to be together forever and get married is transactional. I disagree. I would say, hey, you know what? You know what isn't transactional? When a guy says, hey, you know what? I like you enough to be with you, even though we don't live together, even though we aren't married. I like you enough, I'm going to date you forever. And there's no leashes or ropes or chains tying us together. I'm just with you because I care about you. And she does the same thing. And then if she gets fat, he can leave, no problems. If he gets lazy or loses a job, maybe doesn't make an income she likes, she can leave. No, nothing. Just, all right, see you later, done and done. See, when you do that, that keeps each other accountable. When you get married, one of you can get fat, the other can say no to the bedroom, one of you can get lazy, and you're stuck together. And inevitably, to get back to a place of happiness, you have to get divorced. But if you don't get divorced, you don't live together, and say, like, just for, comparison's sake or argument's sake, let's say I live here in Montana. Let's say I start dating a woman. She's never going to live with me. She's never going to marry me. And she has her own place. And she has her own job. I mean, that's what women want, right? I've already made it clear I'm not having kids. So if she wants kids, bad relationship. I'm not the right guy for her. But maybe she says, you know what, I don't want kids either. Okay, great. We date. If she doesn't give me what I need for the bedroom or vice versa, it's over. If she gains weight or I gain weight, which I did thanks to my mother's great cooking when I'm in Florida, you're done. It's over. And that's what keeps you more accountable is the fact that you go, hey, you know what? If I get fat and I get lazy, she can just walk away. And vice versa. If she says, you know what, I'm not attracted to him and I don't want to put out to him and sleep with him anymore, it's over. And both people can walk away. So the traditional relationship is kind of done. It's now how do we make a transactional relationship actually work? Because that's what relationships are now. in many, many cases. Now, again, traditional relationships are out there, but you're taking a hell of a big gamble. They say the blueprint of a transactional relationship. Transactional relationship can be rooted in disparities concerning social value, especially if the other person is deemed much more attractive. It's commonly seen in relationships where one person's sexual and social capital is said to be ranked higher than the other person's. Like the above example, the man remains on the lookout for someone better and has no intention of committing. Nope, that's wrong. You got that backwards, and I'll tell you why. And they say, and he displays total disregard for how this will affect the woman, his woman's life, or this woman's life, her well-being, and her future marriage prospects. Okay, let's back that up, because they got this backwards. They say, like the above example, a man remains on the lookout for someone better and has no intention of committing. That's wrong. That's wrong. These guys are keeping their eyes out for anything other than one person. In other words, maybe he really likes her. Maybe he really likes sleeping with her, but he gets a lot of attention and and we're talking, again, 5 or 10%ers out there, the top guys. He says, hey, you know what? I've got a lot of options. I don't need to give you anything. And I'm not looking for something better. I'm looking for something where I don't need to put any effort into. And I want the bedroom fun, and I don't have to buy you dinner, and I don't have to commit to you, and I don't have to buy you jewelry for Christmas, and I can treat you like an a-hole. And then if you don't like that, go away. I don't care. I've got 6 more girls to choose from. And if you don't believe it, look at the pickup, channels and stuff like that. Spinning plates. I've got 6 girls, so if one gets tired of me or one leaves me or one cheats on me or one goes away, I got 5 more to choose from. I don't even care that one went away. And that's kind of the pickup and high-value guy mentality. So they're not always looking for a better woman. They're just looking for something different. And they don't want to do anything with effort. Now, who is looking for something better at all times? Women. They even say this on their dating profile. Must be 6 feet tall. Must have 6 figures. And they give the grocery list of things they want from a guy. Why do they feel they can put a grocery list on their dating app? Because they're already dating a guy that's got 3 of those qualities, but they're looking for the guy that has 6. Maybe the guy they're dating now is tall and handsome and he's great in bed, but he doesn't make any money, works at Taco Bell, lives at home with his mom or whatever. So she's like, oh, he's hot, I'll sleep with him, but I need a man that brings in the income. Or maybe the guy's got some money. Maybe he's pretty successful and everything, but he's only a 6 in terms of looks. And she gets flirted with these hot guys because they just want to use her. So she says, well, I got a guy with money, but these guys that are good looking want me too. So isn't it fair that I should have both? And that's what they're going for. They say, I just did a story about this. I have to edit this word because YouTube gave me slack for this. But I did a video on the golden trouser snake syndrome. I did a video on this. So if it's only maybe a month old, I think I've done it in the last month. So if you haven't seen it, go watch that video. It's on all of my channels. But they say golden trouser snake syndrome, golden man snake syndrome, is also a prime example of how the dynamic plays out when a reasonably attractive man who has social skills and popularity can command attention from dozens of women at a time.
Ding, ding, ding. What do we have for her, Johnny?
Exactly, but why can he? Why can he? Because all the women are shooting for the best. And he represents the best. So he has dozens of women that want him at a time. Again, this is a woman's magazine. Evie Magazine is a women's magazine, and they're even admitting these guys have lots of women going for them. But notice she doesn't say all men have this going for them. She's saying the reasonably attractive man who has social skills and popularity. And then, of course, he's got the green. You know, he's got it all, ladies. So he's got dozens of women that want him at a time. They say men with options can have their pick and choose, and they may deem a majority of their relationships to be transactional. Yet some men who don't have many options are still content to use up a woman's youthful years while insisting in the back of his mind, but never saying it out loud to her, that he can do better and is just waiting for the perfect woman all along.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Nope, you got that one wrong. You got that one wrong. Now, these top men that can have dozens of women at a time, the men with options that can pick and choose, and they deem all their relationships as transactional, that is correct. He will spend time with a woman so long as he does nothing and she's giving up the booty and she's paying attention to him. And if she doesn't, that's the type of guy that goes next and moves on to the next woman because he's got dozens to choose from. Where they get this wrong is they say, yet some men who don't have many options are still content to use up a woman's youthful years while insisting in the back of his mind that he can do better. And he's waiting for the perfect woman to come along. No. Sorry. Again, you look at the average guy that's got an average job, that's making an average income, that's got an average body shape, and he gets an average woman. And he likes her, and they're fun, and she sleeps with him, and he enjoys spending time with her. Do you think he's saying, no, I don't commit to her because she's similar to me? No, that's not how this works in most cases. In most cases, she is looking for the better option. And one of these guys that is a higher value guy, she sees, he comes along, maybe flirts with her, winks at her. She feels a little claustrophobic and trapped, tied down to this average guy, and she jumps ship to go catch higher value men. And if you don't believe me, just look at the 500 plus videos I've done where women are saying, hey, you know what? He was a good husband. He was a good man. He was a good father to my kids. And I left him because I wanted to be single and experience myself and, find myself as a big dude that's hung like a horse with muscles that comes and sees her 3 times a week. His name is Find Myself. And then she comes back around. She's like, oh, I made a huge mistake. And smart men are like, you made your choice. You're done. But the reason why they can say this is because, again, they're not really looking at the average guy. The average guy, and this goes back to the study by Match.com, 80% of men were found to be below average, according to a survey. So the average guy that she's talking about is still in the top 20% of men. They're really not talking about the average man. They're talking about the top 20% or 30%. They're really not talking about the bottom 70%. They say if you're not the perfect woman for him, in quotes, perfect woman for him, always keep in mind he's quietly exercising his options while being intent on wasting your better years. This is transactional. You're providing with him what's convenient for him for the time being. Example, sex, companionship, emotional intimacy with no sincere willingness on his part to commit. Yeah, but even if you are the perfect woman for him, he's not going to settle down because he doesn't need to. Because this is what women have to... They've made the rules. Now they are playing in the game that they've written the rules for, and they go, I don't like these rules. The rules are, if you leave me, if we get married and we get divorced, I'm gonna try to get sole custody of the kid. I'm going to go after you for as much child support as I can get. I'm going to go after you for alimony. I'm going to go after you for anything. Because we know, again, most of the time, most women want men to make 152% more than they do to get married to them. So you know they're going to be shooting for a salary. They're going to be shooting to split up the house. They're going to be shooting for child support. They're going to be shooting for the majority of the custody. Where's the man's win out of any of that? That's a big L. That's a big loss. And so guys are like, I'm never getting married. Why would I get married? And in most cases, when a guy says, well, you know what, I would like to get married, actually, and I'm going to get married because I want kids. What are the odds he gets to keep his kid? What are the odds she doesn't bounce and go chase Chad, and he ends up paying child support and can't see his kids because he lost custody and loses his house? Men are waking up to that. And until women come forward and say, you know what, we need to change some of these laws, because the laws were written in a time when women made considerably less money, where women didn't have the upper echelon of jobs like CEO and management and etc. When women weren't making as much money. But now they're finding, in the Google study they found the women actually made more money than the men in the same positions in Google. The only reason men make more in most cases, they're willing to work overtime and work on weekends and work more dangerous jobs. So really, and I think they've boiled it down now to the real wage gap is about between 3 and 5%. And that usually boils down to, and that's like not counting overtime and all this other stuff, is just the how much money they make. That boils down to men's aggressiveness for asking for a pay raise or for more money when he gets hired, that 3 to 5%. There's studies on this stuff. So if men and women are making the equal amounts of money, but when there's a divorce that happens, the woman can get his money even if she's got a job. She can get child support even if she's got a job. She can keep the house even if she's got a job. I mean, these ball players that are getting divorced and having to pay $50,000, $70,000 per month in child support. You're going to tell me that kid per month needs more than me, a fully grown adult that's paying rent and electricity and has a car and gas and food, and I buy my own clothes and buying ski gear so I can go skiing. That kid needs my yearly salary per month? Like, what are you smoking? So until those laws changed, men should never get married ever, period. Until the women start screaming and the women are unhappy and the women say it's not fair and the women feel like they're abandoned and the women don't have any security and the women don't have any men to fall back on. And then the women need to come forward and say, you know what, let's change this. Let's change it to where we take the two salaries. So if the guy makes $100,000 and the woman makes $75,000, let me find something more mathematically comfortable to do math in my head. The man makes $100,000, the woman makes $50,000. They've been married 10 years. Add that together, divide by 2, right? And then you find some percentage of different. Now, I'm not saying this is a good way to do it, but I'm just saying they need to look at all factors. Instead, they just go, women win, the end, moving on. No. So, sorry, Evie magazine, but you guys made these rules. You guys made these rules, and now you have to live with it. We're playing by your rules. I'm not a top 20%er. I know any woman I probably end up dating would leave me for a guy that is a top 20%er. I know this. So why would I get married to her so when she does leave me, she gets to take all my shit? We're not stupid. Doesn't mean I won't date. Doesn't mean I wouldn't be a good boyfriend. Doesn't mean I wouldn't, go out on dates and splurge for dates and we go on ski vacations and whatever. But you better bring what I want to the relationship too. And then when you inevitably get bored or find a different dude or whatever, and you go, bye, I can say, bye, and it's over. But you don't get cash and prizes when you leave. All right, this is a really interesting story that I found. And this is from Reddit. This thing got 34,000 upvotes. I'm going to mute myself while I drink my coffee because people don't like to hear swallow sounds, I guess. There's a joke in there somewhere, but I found this on Reddit, and it has been upvoted many, many times, like 34,000 upvotes, and it has tons of the little, I don't know what they call this, the little icons where people like spend money or spend karma or something to upvote it. It's got tons of those. You can see here. I don't know what all this stuff means, but this was a very, very big post. And this is a story about a guy that says, my fiance left me due to my cancer diagnosis. And so he says, I left her destitute. And this, again, I have to be honest with you. If I was in a relationship where someone had cancer and they were going through a tough time, it would be tough. And it would be tough, especially if you're in this transactional relationship world. You know, it's tough. Like my father's going through issues right now. It's tough. It's tough for my mom. It's tough for my family. But we're also going to make sure he's taken care of and he's happy and he's comfortable and he feels loved because we love him. But if you're in this transactional relationship world, they got cancer. I don't want to deal with all that. And their hair's falling out. Their hair already fell out. His beard fell out, whatever. And it's easy to bounce. Well, apparently this woman left this guy when he was going through cancer, but he recovered and he kind of snapped back at her. So, says, fiance left me due to my cancer diagnosis. I left her destitute. He said, this has been 4 years ago. So the sting is gone and my, quote, revenge has been had. Sorry if this isn't the right forum. He said, we dated for 4 years and had what I thought was a great relationship. We were both well-established professionals who both owned homes in the same neighborhood and both with daughters in the home. Her daughter was 11 and mine was 16 when we met. We had actually planned to get married, build a house, and raise the 2 kids together. We planned the house build because she had recently been diagnosed with a neurological disease that would eventually put her in a wheelchair and need something ADA friendly. During the planning stages, I began doing landscape and construction projects on her home to increase the resale value. All in, I invested roughly $30,000 USD into the home, running everything through my side construction business for tax, permitting, and resale purposes. Sorry, this is the first time I'm reading this all the way through, so I'm a little jumpy on it. We had a contract that payment would be made upon sale of the home. I produced invoices for each and every project, but never pushed for payment because of the prior agreement. I'm going to stop there for a second. Even if you're planned to get married, even if you plan to raise the kids together, even if you know eventually that she will have a neurological disease and be in a wheelchair, he began doing landscape and construction to increase the value of her house so that her resale value would improve. She can walk away at any point and take that 30 grand. You never financially invest money into a woman like for anything, really. I got to be honest with you. Because if she walks away, she takes the money. And if you say, oh, I disagree, okay, then ladies, would you take a $30,000 loan and give it to your boyfriend that you probably are going to marry and you think you're going to marry in the future? Would you take a $30,000 loan and just give it to him and hope he pays you back? If the answer is yes, okay, then you've got a relationship that I could say maybe goes both ways. But if the answer is no, okay. They say, fast forward 6 months. Oh, let me pause this here too. He knows she's going to end up in a wheelchair and that she's been diagnosed with a neurological disease. He didn't bounce. He still improved her house to increase the resale value of it. He's still put in. He's still committed. He's pot committed. So for those that say, oh, yeah, but a guy would do it too. Hey, he's not. They say, fast forward 6 months, we're looking at a property to develop and finalizing drawings on the home when I began feeling ill. I couldn't eat, constantly throwing up and passing blood. I began noticing that my abdomen looked swollen, which was odd because we were both very clean eaters. We were in the gym every day, so I went to the doctor and began having tests done. During this time, she began having small cognitive issues, and the stress of her current position was exacerbating her condition. So she took a $20,000 per annum cut in pay, along with a lesser position inside the company. After a month or so of different tests and a biopsy, it came back that I had a golf ball-sized tumor in my stomach and would need to begin chemotherapy. So I began chemo and radiation treatments, which made me, expectedly so, extremely ill. She was spending time helping me around my place on the weekends and staying over more, to the point that they were both at my home more than theirs. I guess maybe he's talking about the kids there. At this point, I suggested we go ahead and put one of the houses on the market and move in together until the new house was built. I have great supplemental insurance as well as long-term illness plan, so using that coupled with the sale of one of our houses would push us through comfortably and help ease the financial stress on her. Shortly after this discussion, she became extremely distant. Her daughter wasn't coming down and hanging out with mine anymore. She had excuses for not getting together. She quit driving me to treatments and stopped staying over. Then she dropped a bomb, a sentence that will forever be burned into my psyche. I love you, but I can't see myself taking care of someone this sick in the long term, and I don't think we should see each other any longer. In a text, he sent that to her. Now, let me pause there for a moment. You notice she's got a neurological disease. She's going to end up in a wheelchair someday, which is a long-term problem. It sounds like a permanent problem. And he was like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to take care of the house. We'll do this to sell this. We'll move in together. Here's the plan. This is what men do so brilliantly. Here's a plan. Here's a non-emotional, smart, logical plan. That's what men do very well. But when she realized that she might have to care for him in the long term, she noped out. Now, you could say, well, maybe she knew she was going to have cognitive issues and be in a wheelchair, and she can't take care of him, but I challenge you with this. Her diagnosis was long term. Those of you with cancer or had family members with cancer know that it's usually kind of short term. Like going from stage 1 to stage 3 and then stage 4, a year, 2 years, maybe 2.5 years. I don't know someone that's been like, yeah, I've had cancer for 20 years, unless it's like prostate or something like that, and you're very old. So he was willing to hang in it, but she wasn't. And she broke up with him in a text after years. So he says, it broke me. I won't lie. This was the first woman I had ever opened up to and planned a life with since my wife died when my children were 1 and 3. However, I tried to be mature about it. I forced myself to understand her position and accept what I could not change. He said, I calmly the next day gathered all of her things, packed them neatly, loaded them in my truck, and took them to her house to leave on the back porch while she was at work in order to avoid any awkward exchanges. Walking around the back of the house and under the porch cover, I sat down a box and I saw her in her back living room on the couch having sex with a man that she had introduced me to as a lifelong friend. I had dinner and drinks with this man and his girlfriend. We had gone on vacation with them as well. You know, like I said earlier, women very, very, very rarely will just be like, out of the blue, all of a sudden, she stopped calling, she stopped talking to me, all of the blue, gone. She broke up with me, just out of the blue. Nope, she had a dude on the back burner. So when he, up here, this is a picture, so I can't highlight the text, so I may get lost here. But anyway, right up here, when he got the cancer diagnosis, instantly, she was probably looking for somebody else. Or maybe she'd already been, banging this other dude on the side. And when she found out this guy has cancer, she's like, okay, look, I have a long-term diagnosis. I'm going to be in a wheelchair someday. I'm going to be in trouble someday. I still need someone to take care of me. And this dude may die of cancer, so he can't take care of me. So I need to find somebody that will. And how did she use that? By using her sexuality and having a little fun in the bedroom to rope in another dude. And then this guy's out. She already had moved on. She got her next, she took that back burner guy that's on the back burner and she moved that up to the front burner and whoop, and off this guy went. And, she's sealing the deal with another dude that had a girlfriend that they had been out like in a couple's date with. So this guy met the guy with cancer met this guy that she's sleeping with and his girlfriend. And they had a foursome date out. And next thing you know, she's boning him. He said, I never spoke of the incident with her and simply sent her a text later explaining that I would leave her things on my side porch to pick up at her convenience. I discovered 8 or 9 months later from his now ex-girlfriend that they had broken up due to him confessing that he had been sleeping with my significant other, dating back to about the time we were finishing drawings on the new home. He said, now I'm pissed. Revenge time. So now his girlfriend, I have no names to use. So like cancer guy, his girlfriend with the disease, the long-term thing, hooks in another guy and breaks up their relationship because she's probably like, oh, I love you and I find you attractive and she doesn't give you everything you need, but I'm going to sleep with you every day you want. I'll give you everything you want and I'm here for you. Maybe that new guy doesn't know about her diagnosis, but she's roping him in. And this guy's just like, wow, I've been pushed. I have cancer. I lost a woman I thought I was going to be with. I liked her little girl. Not only that, but she's banging this dude I thought was a decent dude we'd been out to dinner with. This is the time when many men, I got to be honest with you, this is the time when many men go out to the garage, grab the rope, loop it up, over the rafter, and kick a chair out. Because he's like, I might end this, but at least he has a daughter. At least he has a daughter. So at least, he's like, let me try to get through this. I want to be here for my baby girl. And so at least he's man enough for that. Thank God. Because if he didn't have her, who knows what he might have done. He might have nexted himself. So he says, at this point, I had finished chemo and radiation for the time being, and I was feeling healthier. I was going through some much neglected paperwork when I ran across the file that contained $32,680 in unpaid, long overdue invoices, which were promptly sent to my attorney to begin lien proceedings on the home. It turns out that I couldn't have done this a moment too soon because she was set to put her house on the market. Now, I'm not sure what he means here. I think he's maybe saying that I had my attorney put a lien on her house for the work and the money that I'd put in on her house. And I think that's what he's saying. It's not super clear, but the 32 grand he has in bills because of his cancer, I guess he's going after her, is the money he put in on her house. And you know, one of the things why I believe this is a true story is because there's things that leave you kind of confused. Like when someone writes a story and they're making something up, it's a very clear story where everything makes sense and everything's written out perfectly. This guy's writing this from his memory, I believe, because there's stuff where you go, wait, I'm not really sure if I understand that. I'm not sure what he's doing or why he's doing that. It's because his memory is filling in the blanks of what he's forgetting to write. That's one way you know someone's writing from the heart and from memory. That's my opinion on it. So that's why I believe this. He said, coupled with interest over the course of what was then 19 months overdue, the invoices were hefty. That, along with the agreement of settling them when the house was sold and attorney fees, left her with roughly $10K after the sale of the home and settling her current mortgage. Okay, so I guess maybe what he's saying is that if she's going to sell her house, she'd have to pay him back and attorney fees that would leave her with 10 grand left. I think that's what he's saying. She promptly had to back out of the purchase of another home and moved in with her oldest daughter and 2 grandchildren. She also has to leave her job and begin receiving disability. So in the meantime, her health is starting to fail to get disability. She had to hold off on her purchase of another home and moved in with her daughter and grandchildren because I think the money she was going to use from her house sale that she would have used for a down payment on the next house had to go to him because of the work he had put in. Again, I'm making some assumptions here. I'm trying to make sense of this part. I ran into her a little over a year ago, and she looked as if she has aged 20 years and was in a wheelchair we had talked about. She was in the wheelchair we had talked about. We chatted cordially but briefly, and I excused myself and went on with my day. A few days later, her younger daughter called me and spoke of my running into her mom, and could we hang out sometime? I gave her a vague answer, thanked her for calling, and again went on with my day. Let me just say something. This guy, I got to give this guy props because he went through all this, and even though he had to sue her for the money he put into the house, even though she had left him, even though she had banged another dude behind his back, even though she left him when he had cancer, he still chatted cordially with her. Like, he was nice. He was polite, and not over the top. Cordially is like, you're nice. Yes, everything's fine. Nice to see you. Hope you do well. Blah, blah, bye-bye. Now, in your head, you might be thinking, like, I'd like to wring her neck. But you know what? He didn't attack her. He didn't lay out on her. He's just like, hey, good luck to you. And moved on. So I give him props for that. He said, the ex then called me a week or so later and began apologizing for leaving me as she did. Again, he was cordial but short. I thanked her for calling and hung up. She began texting me, and this went on for several weeks until, one, she asked if I could come over, if I could ever see us rekindling what we had. So she's now in the wheelchair. She looks 20 years older. Her health is failing. She's not doing so well. Had she stayed with this guy, he'd still be with her, even if she looked like this. He'd be taking care of her. But she burned that bridge because she thought he was going to be ended because of the cancer, and she had to fish in another dude. That other dude, when she started to run into her problems or look older, bounced on her. So now what she did is she let go of the little fish, and she went fishing for what she thought was a bigger fish. And she caught it, but that bigger fish got away, and now she has no fish. Now she has a worm. And now she's like, well, let me go see if I can get that little fish back again. Nope, gone. It's gone. It's too late. But she comes sniffing around back because he's now getting healthier. He's financially fine. He's got his other property. He's moved on. And he's just as good. He's just as fine as he was. He replied, I can't see myself taking care of someone so sick in the long term. Now let me bring this back. Remember, the text she sent him when she broke up with him because of his cancer diagnosis was, I love you, but I can't see myself taking care of someone this sick in the long term, and I don't think we should see each other any longer. So the text he sent to her when she asked if they could get back together, again, he sent her, quote, I can't see myself taking care of someone so sick in the long term. Remember the box on your back porch? Did you think that that lifelong friend brought that over to you from my house? Good luck to you. Goodbye. So he basically uses her own words back against her. Then he says, hey, by the way, I knew you boned that dude, your friend, on the couch, and I saw that when I dropped your stuff over. Good luck to you. Goodbye. And like a man, he just dusted his hands off and walked away. Now, in the inside, it could have been like that, the meme where there's a smiley face mask and there's the rage cry going on behind it, right? You've seen that meme. He could have been like that inside. But you know what? He was cold. He cut it off. He just was like, nope. You made your choices. Live with it. You made your choices. Live with it. Done. And he put a TLDR. Girlfriend broke up with me due to having cancer, so I ruined the sale of her home, the purchase of another, and left her to have to move in with her daughter, and then threw her breakup line back at her. And then threw her breakup line back at her. I sometimes feel guilt over this, but not much and not often. This is the transactional relationships. The minute she felt like, hey, he's not going to be able to give me what I want, instead of being there for him, instead of working this out in the long term, because if she were smart, she would have thought, hey, you know what? He might survive this cancer, and if I'm there for him, he'll be there for me through my rough period. And, you know, but she took a gamble, and she said, he might not make it. I bet now while I'm young and pretty or whatever, before my issues come up, I better catch myself a guy. She did. She failed. And where is it?
You lose. Good day, sir.
You lost. Sorry, those blanks you hear me sipping coffee. You lost, lady. So I like this story. Good on you, champ. And this is kind of what made me think of the this guy writes on Facebook, and this is old. It's been around for a little while, but when I saw this image again, it made me think of this guy that was just telling his story. Someone writes, I work 12 hours a day, and I come home to this shit, and it is a trashed house, dirty plates, food, laundry all over the floor, a shall we say,
Was she a great big fat person?
a bigger gal on the couch, which is his wife, and she's done nothing. He says, I work 12 hours a day and come home to this. This is what happens when you don't have, you know, the fulfillment. And if you're married, which I'm guessing this guy is, if you're married, what do? If she just says, I don't care. I'm going to get fat. I'm not going to sleep with you anymore. I'm not going to do the laundry. I'm not your maid. You don't tell me what to do.
How dare you?
And then the guy's like, well, I want to leave. Okay, I'm going to take half your crap, and I'm going to take the custody of the kids. This is too big a gamble for men. Men have too much to lose. The odds of this happening are higher than a woman staying slim and petite and attractive and submissive and cooking. And the odds of this happening are much more than a woman staying the other way. So the odds of divorce go up and up and up and up. All right, this one's a weird one. I don't even know if I can put this one on YouTube. If I do, I'm going to have to edit the hell out of this one. This is from The Sun. And again, I know a lot of these are, you know, you guys are like, oh, they're just promoting their services, and it's not. Okay, who cares? It's a funny story. And it's a real woman, so. But this woman says, sextra something. I quit my job as a head teacher. A head teacher. You know what I'm saying? And became a sex instructor. It means I've slept with 250 blokes. My fiance doesn't care. Now, I'll just be honest with you. This is him in a kilt. And he's got long hippie hair. And it looks like he's got a chest tattoo. I could see that being the type of guy that he doesn't care with. But I'm sorry, can you imagine your girl, 250 blokes, what? I don't know. We'll see how long she's been doing this, but When Lana Michaels met her partner Sean in 2019, it didn't take long for her to realize he was the one. Not only did they get it on like a house on fire, but they both had similar wants in the bedroom, something they'd struggle with in previous relationships. All right, so I guess maybe they were both a little freaky-deaky in the bedroom. They didn't find anybody that was open to that, so they found each other. Now, here's the funny thing again. Like, if I saw a girl in this kind of outfit, like, you wouldn't, this is what's so frightening for guys. And I genuinely mean this. If you were out on a hike, guys, or you were out on a jog, or you were out at one of those taco trucks or something, and you saw a girl that was standing in line that looked like this, and you had a friendly chat up with her, you don't look at her and it screams, oh, she's a professional. I could see many guys asking a girl like this out on a date. It's a chameleon. They hide right in plain sight. She estimates she'll make 80,000 pounds in the next year as a sex instructor. That's not a lot of money, I got to be honest. There's OnlyFans making that every month. She makes 80,000 pounds doing that. She must not, I don't know. Maybe she's doing it more for the fun versus the money. Or maybe she's just not very good. Maybe she can't charge that much. 80, yeah, that's not a lot of money. I know electricians and welders that make more than that. Speaking to Closer Magazine, Lana explained how she was working as a head teacher in Crawley, Sussex, when she matched with Sean on a vegan dating site.
Oh, wait, you serious?
That's a vegan dating site. That's where they met. Is 80,000 pounds 130 US? That sounds a little steep to me. Although the dollar is weak. You know what? I'm thinking back 3 or 4 years ago when I traveled around the world. And so maybe the US dollar is falling off a cliff compared to the pound. So, maybe you can't make that much but as a welder, you probably could. So they met on a vegan dating site. But have you noticed teachers? There's something with educators right now where they're going crazy when it comes to being a little promiscuous. And yeah, I'm saying it like that for a reason. They're becoming a little bit promiscuous. I mean, the students, vegan dating sites. I got to just say this. If you were like, hey, my boyfriend, he's got really long hair and he likes to wear kilts and his name is Sean and I met him on a vegan dating site, there's no part of that sentence where I'm like, really? No, that makes perfect sense to me. In February, the mom of two, she's a mother of two. The mom of two visited Sean in Edinburgh and said they had an electric chemistry. 3 months later, the pair decided to relocate to Spain. She explained, I've always loved sex, but my ex-boyfriends have always been quite tame and things in the bedroom had been vanilla. Then I met Sean, and he brought out my wilder side. We've opened up each other's minds and started swinging. Oh, so now they're swingers. You know what's interesting? His spelling, S-H-A-W-N, is kind of the English spelling of an Irish name, because I believe the S-E-A-N is the Irish spelling of Sean. So maybe he's not really Irish or anything. I got to tell you, here's something weird. Mommy, how did you and Daddy meet? Well, honey, you see, I was a teacher, and we met on a vegan dating site, and then I quit dating, and I started banging other men because your original dads were boring, and they were vanilla. But I wanted to spice things up, so I decided to start dating your new dad. And then we started joining swinging parties, and then I was dating lots of people. No wonder our next generations are so screwed up. Oh, they're so screwed up. When they first relocated, the couple who had found work as teachers began experimenting with other couples they met through swinging apps. At weekends, they'd go along to sex parties while the kids were at home with a babysitter, and Lana said she'd sleep with up to 8 people a night. Oh, gosh.
I loved a woman who wasn't clean.
8 people a night.
Shit, I'll bet you could suck a golf ball through a garden hose.
Jeez, 8 people a night. Now, I know most of the time they are supposed to be using protection, but I've read a lot of stories that I can't do on YouTube, and this is long before I started Locals. I can't do it on YouTube. But I've read lots of stories where there's a lot of raw dogging going on at these parties. She explained, we'd meet so many different people at parties aged from early 20s to late 60s, and it always felt like a very safe environment. Well, I don't think Grandpa in his late 60s is going to, like, be dangerous. During the week, we were respectable teachers. Oh, they were still teachers when they were doing this. Oh, my.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
They were shocked. I'm shocked. They were teachers when they were doing this. I'm telling you guys, get your kids out of public school, private school, homeschooling, something. These teachers. They were respectable teachers during the week, and the weekends we'd really let our hair down. Since the start of I wonder if she has hairy armpits. She is a teacher and a vegan. Nope, she doesn't. I thought she might let that hair down. During the start of their relationship, Lana says she slept with 250 men and about 40 women, too. So she's got a 300 body count just since they started being together. But Sean's number isn't quite so high, as he prefers to just be with one person at a time.
You're a smart motherfucker, that's right.
Well, he's not smart, but she's smart. That wasn't a good button for this situation. So she slept with 300 people, and apparently he slept with her because he only wants to be with one person at a time. Or maybe he's got like this girlfriend and one other person. Oh, Jesus. Describing herself as sex mad, the mom added, "I'm not ashamed. Why should I be?"
Come on, man.
Why shouldn't you? You know, someone did a thing on the internet. Where they were like, assuming the average male is 6 inches in length and maybe takes 100 strokes to finish the job. That's like 600 inches, which is, I don't know, they did the math on this, X amount of feet. And with this many partners and this many, like they did the math on it, and there's literally women, and this would be one of them, that have had miles of D run through them. They've had miles of man pipe run through them. But I feel no shame. She says, I sleep with 5 men a week and my fiance loves it. I feel very lucky. Well, of course you feel very lucky. You've got this dude that's engaged to you, giving you money, supporting you, giving you emotional stability. And in the meantime, you get to sleep with whoever. Now, but let's pause. Let's reverse this. Let's imagine the woman only has one partner, and this guy, and she's supportive of him and loves him and financially supports him, and she's engaged to him, but he's out sleeping with 300 women, 5 women a week, but she's relatively not sleeping with anybody, and she still emotionally and financially supports this guy. The women would go crazy. They would say that he's manipulated her and that he's brainwashed her and that he's using her and that he's harming her. You know this. You know that's what they would say. But the reverse, no, stunning and brave. Stunning and brave. They say, however, the bug changed everything for the couple as it brought their work to a standstill and means they couldn't go to swing parties anymore. After hearing about people making money on OnlyFans, Lana looked into becoming an instructor and began filming naughty videos with Sean and uploading them online. The couple filmed 1 video a week, ranging on topics such as dirty talk to swinging etiquette, and rake in a cool 7,000 pounds a month, about 10,000 US dollars. Within the next year, Lana estimates she'll make 80,000 pounds thanks to the videos and the private coaching she offers to help men learn how to please women. I can do that right now for you. And I won't even charge you. I won't even charge you what Lana charges. Okay, guys, here's how you make women just as happy as Lana. You ready? Get engaged to them. You don't get to sleep with many people, but let her sleep with everybody. Give her everything. Let her sleep with everybody. Let her get her body count up with everybody. And you just are there to serve her needs. There you go. Pay me. Because that's literally what this woman's doing with her boyfriend. And she's going to tell you, guys out there, here's the way to keep your women happy. Give me a break. And if it was just about pleasing her in the bedroom, she has Sean. Remember, they got together because everybody else was vanilla, but together they were like a house on fire. So if she really knew how to teach a man how to please her, she'd teach Sean how to keep her happy, done and done. But no, she needs literally hundreds of other men to keep her happy. Good luck to you. Lana's now focusing her energy on the instruction business, quit her job as a teacher. Thank God she's not doing both at the same time. But what do friends and family make of it all? Lana says they're all supportive, including the father of her children.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, sir.
No, they're just being nice to you. Or you've got some screwball friends. I could maybe, although as weird as she is, maybe the father is okay about it. But really, everybody's okay. My parents love it. They asked me to bring the 250 guys I slept with over for Thanksgiving. Everybody's fine with it. One couple even wanted to come with us to a swinging party to see what it was all about. They loved it. Oh, Lord. You know, when people ask me why I feel like I haven't really changed much. And you know, back in the day, when I say back in the day, I mean like in the 1950s. You know, you'd have old people being like, "Oh, you kids and your rock and roll and Elvis the pelvis and the music and oh, your kids are ruining society." And then the next generation was, "Oh, you kids, you hippies and your free love and your music and being on the pill and going to these music festivals and doing the illicit substances and just having indiscriminate sex. Oh, you kids." And then in the 80s, I don't remember too much of that. That's kind of where boomers came from. And in the 90s, it was, "Oh, you kids and you grunge music and long nappy hair and flannel," which really isn't that big a deal, and your hair metal and evil satanic music. But again, really not that bad. Now it's kind of like, now I'm old man Joker sitting on the porch. Get off my lawn. You swingers with your 500 partners and your STDs and you're having 3 children from 3 different men. And that's how I feel. I feel like I'm just too old for this crap. And that's okay. That's okay. But you know something? If this is where everything's going, if it's right for you, you do you. But I gotta say, man, this is society's got a long fall. Let me see if puppy cam here is. It's out of whack. Let me adjust puppy cam here. Let me see if that helped any. Where's pup cam? Well, you can't get a good angle. He sleeps in like 15 different positions on that thing. I can never get a camera that'll be like good, so when he's napping, I got to get something that's maybe further away. Me and my dog in a cabin in the woods. Hermit Joker. I didn't leave society. Society left me. Okay, I'll do, actually, I got a little bit of time left. Oh, hey, good news, guys. They've upped my streaming from 90 minutes to 120 minutes on locals. So I can do 2-hour streams now. I probably won't do that long because that would bore the hell out of all of us. So I'll make this the last story, and then we'll do a dating profile of the day. Let me flip over my dating profiles of the day here. I got 3 of them. So I'll make this the last story, and then... Okay, this one is, the third rule is back. Why was it ever a thing to begin with? According to those who ought to know, waiting to have sex is in vogue again. Now, this is from December 10th of this year, so just like 5 days ago. The third date rule is back. Why was it ever a thing to begin with? according to those who ought to know, waiting to sleep with somebody is in vogue again. Okay, let me tell you why it's in vogue. Because men like myself, and many of you men that watch my channel, say, you know, I don't want women with super high body counts. I don't want women that have given themselves to everybody. I do not want the town doorknob where everybody's had a turn. I want a woman that will be a little bit more discreet in who she gives her body to. And so guys will hook up with a guy will sleep with a woman on the first day. He's like, I don't care. But it also means he probably won't date her or keep her around as a girlfriend. So what women are doing now is instead of waiting until the third date to see if they really like the guy, and this is just a guess, but I've read enough stories on FDS, female dating strategy, on Reddit to know that what they're doing is they're faking it. Like they'll be sleeping with guy A, they'll meet guy B, who's really the guy they want to date. Like guy A is just a hot chad that they want to bone. They really want to date guy B. So what they do is they make guy B wait, so he thinks that she's a good girl. In the meantime, she's boning guy A. It's on female dating strategy and a lot of these dating strategy sites. So women really aren't women are waiting till date 3 or date 5, or waiting to make it seem like they're chaste and virginal and good. But in reality, they're not. They're just faking it because they think that's what guys like. Again, they're pretending, basically. They say, we pretty much stop counting dates after 3. If you make it that far, they stop being first dates or second dates, and they just become dates. 3 is the last one that's significant, and according to dating folklore, the third date means hooking up. Yes, even in our current era of dating apps, one-night stands, and hookup culture, the idea of a third date is still almost synonymous with sex. For this, we can thank a little thing often referred to as the third date rule. Let me zoom this up a little bit bigger. There we go. I lost where I was there. Seemingly a relic left over from a bygone era of less sexually liberated courtship. The third date rule encourages singles, female ones in particular, to wait until the third date to have sex with a potential new flame, especially one they were hoping to lock down on a long-term basis. Now, why is that? Again, like I said, because if a woman comes across as too easy, guys today will date them and do date them long-term, but they may not think she's marriage material, especially with the body counts going through the roof. So now, again, guys look for women that say, hey, you know what? Like, they want a woman that says, get to know me. And once you get to know me and you say you want to be in a relationship with me, then we'll sleep together. Like, then we'll be together. But men want that realistic. Like, men want that to be like a true thing. Not a, I'll just fake and not sleep with him. I'll fake it so he thinks I'm a good girl, but in reality, I'm a horrible person with a body count of triple digits. And I think that's what they're doing. Again, at least on some of the stories I've seen. So they say, while the 3-date rule seems to maintain a level of cultural recognition today, it tends to recall a pre-internet era of courtship where dates were arranged on answering machines instead of dating apps and blind dating, speed dating, or wondering whether he was going to call instead of waiting for a text. In short, the 3rd date rule is reminiscent of Sex and the City era of dating, one that may or may not have ever really existed but remains immortalized in our cultural consciousness. And not unlike Carrie Bradshaw herself, the 3rd date rule seems to be the latest bit of the 90s double aughts ephemera making comeback. Let's see. I'm trying to find like where the actual, like I do not care about after the Sex and the City stuff. I'm trying to find out why this is coming back. As you can tell, I didn't read through this. I don't like reading through the full story because I like to have a natural reaction a lot of times. They say, what's interesting to me, however, is not necessarily why or whether the 3rd date rule is making a comeback, but rather why it was ever a thing to begin with. I don't necessarily mean this in a critical way. While the 3rd date rule, it has historically existed and presumably been practiced, certainly carries some sexist and sex-negative undertones. I disagree. I'm not strictly opposed to the idea of slowing down physically, not entirely skeptical of the benefits of doing so may have on the longevity of a burgeoning relationship. This must be written by a woman. What I'm curious about as a person who knows a lot about dating in this day and age, relatively little about dating in other ones, is how, when, and why lucky number 3 got to be the magic date. To find out, we have traveled back in time to the land of pagers, answering machine, and rules to the rules, to be precise. Let me see if this is written by a woman. Written by Kayla Kibbe. Of course it is. So here you've got a woman that's saying, but I don't understand why you even need to worry about the third date rule. In a video I talked about, this woman waited several dates, and then she was with the guy, and he was awful in bed, and she regretted it. She said, just sleep with him right away, and then you'll know. When I was a younger man, back in college, or the year of college that I took, and when I was in the military, and even after the military in my 20s, this was before the dating apps. So you didn't have a choice of thousands of people at your fingertips while you laid in bed at 2 a.m. This is where you had to actually have some game, know how to talk to people, go out and flirt, be funny, be interesting, be casual, be confident, be cool. And so, you know, a joker did okay back in the day. I went on lots of dates. And the vast majority of them were not hookup dates because there wasn't social media. You couldn't stalk them on Facebook and see what they were like. You had to actually sit down in front of a person, and they were 100% a stranger. And you're like, I don't know anything about this person. Other than I thought they were cute enough to maybe toss a couple of lines to and ask them out on a date. And so it was, tell me about your family, tell me about your friends, tell me about your hobbies, tell me about you. What do you like? What do you not like? And you got to know them. That was first date. Like the girls that were like, I don't know anything about you, but I'll sleep with you. They were easy. They were the easy girls. Like everybody loved them, but nobody dated them. They were the easy girls. So really the people you ended up dating, yeah, you'd go on a couple of dates with them because you didn't know anything about them. And you didn't know who they were. Well, now people don't care to know anything about them. Or you can just match on a social app and you look and you're like, oh, okay, they're into skiing. They have a dog. They work at here. They do this. Okay, yeah, good enough. I'll sleep with them. Like that's kind of where we've gone. Well, if I slept with every date I went on in my 20s and mid-30s, I'd probably have a count in the thousands. I went on a lot of dates. A lot of them didn't turn out very well. They didn't like me. I didn't like them. Whatever. But that's what dating used to be. Was like, hey, let's go on a date. See what you're about. But but you had the rule because if like a woman just put out, you're like, oh, well, she's just easy. Like, I'm not going to date her. I'll sleep with her a couple more times, but she's just easy. That was the mindset. Joker would never do that. Anyway. So what would happen, though, is they were the easy ones. And you'd go on a few dates to get to know. And like, do I like this person? Do I want to keep seeing them? That was why there was a third date. Well, now because of all the social media, it's kind of like, okay, I know their hobbies, whatever, let's hook up. So that means that a lot of these women and probably young guys, especially the top 5%ers, a lot of these people are coming forward with body counts, 50s, 100s, 200s, 300s. If every date or maybe the second date ends in sleeping with each other, but all these relationships are transactional. No wonder so many people have like unhealthy relationships with other people, and they don't know how to love, and they don't know how to care, and they don't know how to stay with somebody. They're just frying every receptor you have in your body. So let's see, where was okay, so like many other things that already existed before Carrie, company stepped on the scene in 1998. Rabbit vibrators, cosmopolitans, third date rule was deniably popularized. So, my archery, I've got a recurve bow, 45-pound recurve bow on order, and it looks like they're calling me. I'll have to call them back. I get a new bow today. Sweet. I got my compound, and then I got a recurve. So basically, you know what? I'm gonna post this article down below because it seems here they're just kind of like, and this is a bit of a thick read. I don't want to go through all of it, but they say here, for the uninitiated, the rules published in 1995 was presented as a modern woman's guide to locking down a husband by following 35 simple rules that mostly amount to suppressing all wants needs, and other signs of autonomous personhood for long enough to trick a man into marrying you before he figures out you're an actual human, which would be unsexy. The rules mostly involve various forms of playing hard to get. Don't accept a Saturday night date after Wednesday, for example, paired with a healthy dose of downright dehumanization. Don't stare at men or talk too much. Don't open up too much. So, again, since this is written by a woman, remember that if a man likes a traditional woman that would take care of the home and cook and clean and not fart in front of him and be feminine, that's dehumanizing to women. Just remember that. That's where I think she's coming from. I'm going to just highlight this and tell it to search the web for that, and then I'll come back to that. Maybe I'll pull up the book, and I'm always up for an interesting book to the other side. But if this woman's calling it dehumanizing and, don't stare at men and don't be open too much and don't probably cook and be sweet and feminine, that's probably a book I'd actually enjoy. They say, unsurprisingly, the rules also feature at least 2 whole chapters devoted to sex in the early stages of courtship. Rule number 14, no more than casual kissing on the first date. Number 15, don't rush into the bedroom. While the rules does not explicitly enforce a third date rule, instead stating that the rule in this regard depends on your age and personal feelings, it does gesture towards it. The rules never officially sanctions the third date as the green light, instead vaguely suggesting that a woman wait a month or 2, though it does on multiple occasions make reference to the fact that sex on the first or second date would be an unforgivably reprehensible. But this is the writer here says, but what if you like sex a lot too and denying yourself is just as hard as denying him? Does that mean you can sleep with him on the first or second date? Unfortunately, the answer is still no. Oh, this is an excerpt from the book. You'll just have to exercise a bit of self-restraint and character building here and trust that if you hold off for a few weeks or months, you won't be sorry. So this article basically is saying like, hey, he's having a, of course he stops the minute I flip it to him. Oh, there he goes. He's running outside in the fields of snow. I took him out earlier and I let him off leash and he just went bounding. We've got about a foot of snow and he just went out playing. He had a good time today. So to me, it sounds like what we've got is men are saying, hey, you know what? The sexual liberation thing, this works okay with me. Why? I don't have to buy a meal. Don't have to buy a coffee. I mean, if I'm, Chad McChatterson, I don't have to buy a meal. Don't have to buy a coffee. I don't need to put in any effort. These women just come to me. I get laid. It's awesome. Then with this positivity movement, a lot of women are now in the, they're now professionals where they'll say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go on this dating app. You provide me with $100 or $150 or $200 or whatever a date and take me out to dinner. Then you give me that money. I will sleep with you. But remember, this is positive. Women are saying this is positive, sex positivity. This is awesome. So now the guys that are a little less attractive but are good earners or willing to save money to go out on a date, a guy that's a 6 or 7 can pay a couple $100 and sleep with an 8 or a 9. And you might say, well, but in the past, he could do that if he had game and everything else. Yeah, but he had to have a relationship with her. Now he doesn't even need to do that. He just texts her, you free this Saturday? Yeah. Usual arrangement? Yeah. They go out to dinner, they bang, he lays some money in her hands, he goes home, doesn't have to think about her again. Because that's what many men want out of a relationship anyway, is that release, and then they're like, hey, I'm happy hanging out with my guy friends and doing my thing. So they're winning. And then the rest of the guys that are like, you know what, I'm not okay with doing that. I don't want to pay for a professional. I'm not really in the game, but I would like a girlfriend. Those guys, unfortunately, they lose. But I think a lot of them are coming around saying, you know what, now with access to a lot of the videos on the website and some lotion and Rosie Palmer and her 5 friends, I can take care of that need for myself. And my money is all mine. I don't need to go on a date that I don't want to go, and I don't want to have to watch a movie that I didn't want to go watch in the first place. I don't need to listen to her whine or complain, or I don't have to, when she's sick, I don't have to, I can just do whatever I want. So those guys are kind of feeling like, maybe it's not a win, but it's a draw. So who's really losing out of this? I mean, probably the women that get passed around by the top 5 or 10 percenters thinking they always have a chance, the alpha widows, they lose. The women that are taking money, and this is my personal opinion, the women getting this money may disagree with me, but the women that are being loose with their morals and are taking money for the bedroom activity, they have all the right to do it. I'm not shaming them at all. You're free to do it. But I do feel bad for them because I feel like they're doing permanent damage to their self-worth. I mean, I used to work in a strip club. The girls that did the dancing, they were not mentally sound. They did not have a lot of dads in their lives, and that much was obvious. Well, if you go to the next step where you're literally letting your body be used, I can't believe that leaves you in a good place, despite somebody saying, oh, it's empowering and I love it. Okay. If you say so, I think that's a lose for those women. So it's a lose for the alpha widows that are chasing around these guys and just getting passed around until they're too old to be desired by those guys, and then they have to look for a beta blue pillar. They lose. The girls that are, positive and selling myself and making all this money, great. Yes, I'm sure they're putting it into 401ks and crypto and other wise investments, so they only have to sell themselves for a couple of years, and then they're rich. There are some of them that do that, but there's a lot that don't. So I feel they're losing. And so in all, really, to me at least, it feels like it's just about a damn near loss for everybody except for the very, very top guys. And even them, I think, I even think they burn out on the, hot girl after hot girl. That sounds great to guys that don't get lucky all the time. But I'll tell you, I've read many interviews, whether it's by adult male stars that are in the, spicy work industry. These guys, they don't get paid much because most guys are willing to do it for darn near free. But if you talk to a lot of the guys that are in that industry, it doesn't really mean anything anymore. It's not like another way to satisfy yourself, except you happen to be using another human being to do it. Like, it becomes very dehumanizing. I've read many interviews by those guys that are like, it doesn't, like, it still feels good, but it doesn't really mean anything anymore. A lot of them actually have to take some medicine like Viagra or other stuff to help them rise to the occasion because the excitement's just gone for them. Young men are even having the same problem because they've watched so much material online that they've kind of fried out their receptors. The whole dating scenario right now is there's a whole lot of problems in the dating world right now. And I don't, I'm not going to change it. I don't think any of us are going to change it. Society as a whole has to change it. So with them talking about, hey, you know what? The 3 dating rule, I think that's women trying to maybe tie down men. I think that's men saying, you know what? I'll sleep with you, but you're too easy. I'd never date you long term. I think I think the pendulum's eventually going to swing back to where people are going to start looking for, for more conservative things in the future. At least, that's what I'm hoping. All right, let's do some dating profiles of the day. All righty, let's see what we got here for the first one. Okay, this is kind of where I'm going. So I found this online. It wasn't sent in to me. You can't really see her, her face in this photo, whoever cropped this. But you can see she's got petite legs. Like, she's not a big, she's not a biggin.
Was she a great big fat person?
Not a big one. So she's petite. But here's the thing, right? She's 23. I'm 23. I have 3 beautiful daughters. She's got 3 kids by the age of 23. And this is what I'm talking about when guys are like, look, now let's say you bump into her. She looks to have her bottom half's athletic. I'd have to, because she looks like she's a size 2. So let's say that you find her and she's slim and petite and pretty and 23, and you meet her out at a country western club because she says she likes country music, and you take her on a couple dates, and then you find out she's got 3 kids by the age of 23. Do you think any young man's going to be like, I am so down to be dad? I am so down to be dad at this young age in my life.
I'm not going to call him dad. Ever.
No. She says, I work at a prison, so I know a con when I see one. I hope she works. I hope she works at a female prison, because if she works at a male prison, you've got every guy constantly trying to hit on that. I mean, I can't tell her face, but she's you know. If you don't hunt, don't even try. I'm okay with that. Must have a job. I'm okay with that. She says, I'm not paying for your shit. I'm not paying for it. If you can't read a tape measure or use power tools, boy, bye. I'm okay with that too. This last one, though, is where I have a bit of an issue. I order steak on the first date. Boy, would it be awkward if she went on a first date with Joker and tried to order steak at the coffee shop. I'm not taking you to get steak for a first date. Kiss my ass. You get coffee and you're going to buy your own. Maybe I'll buy you a $5 cup of coffee, but it's not going to be Starbucks. That stuff's crap. We're going to go to a real coffee house. I'd like a steak medium rare, please. Ma'am, we only serve coffee. So let me move on. Let me move on to another one here. But I'm telling you. This one's 24. She doesn't look to have too bad a body. I can't really tell. A lot of these, I find they're showing their bodies more than their faces. So either their faces aren't good. You know what's funny? A lot of these dating apps, they either show their face and they're holding the camera from 15 feet above them so that they get rid of all the double chins and their face looks good. And they crop the picture right here so you see the tops of their boobs. So you see cleavage and their face like this. And that's to get rid of the double chins and to show their big cans. And what they do is they avoid the other 280 pounds of their body. Or the other thing they do is they show a lot of their bodies in kind of spicy pictures, but they don't show their face. Now, sometimes there are some with both, but I'm telling you, she's 24. Mommy of 2 girls. Mommy of 2 girls. I'm looking for a hot button to hit here, but I'm not sure which to pick because I would end up hitting the same hot button all the time. Mommy of 2 girls. No shock. She's 22, Scorpio. Okay, let me just tell you this right now. I'm going to stop the music. Let's get serious here for just a minute. If you ever see anything to do with these signs, the Scorpio, and I'm a Cancer, and I'm a Virgo, and I'm a Libra. If anything has anything to do with any of that, run. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Just run away. Just run away. Again, unless it's a one-night hit it and quit it kind of thing, you're fine. But when they start doing this, just GTFO. Get out. If all you're looking for is for sex or to hook up, on to the next one. I want something real. No games. I need to know that you want something serious. Of course she does. Why is it no hookups? Okay, I get that. But why do women put no hookups in their profiles? I can tell you this from my days of dating. If she puts no hookups or no bedroom fun on the first date, don't do it. That means she will. If you're cute enough and funny enough and hot enough, she will. Because what she's really saying is she says, look, I can't help it. If I really like you, you will be able to sleep with me. I just don't have enough self-control to tell you no. I swear that's true. From every girl I've ever dated that says I don't hook up on the first date, they always do. That what they're telling you is please don't try because I don't have enough self-respect or enough control to say no. But I want something real. No games. I need to know you want something serious. Why so serious? Do I still have that on my button? I don't know if I have the why so serious on my button anymore. Why so serious? Because she's got 2 kids. She's a mommy, a 24-year-old mommy. She needs a provider now. She had her fun with the Chads. She needs the provider. You need to date her and love her and take care of her and provide for her. Serious time. Serious. It's serious. Super serious. Yes, looks matter, but it's what's on the inside that counts. Not too often you find both nowadays. There you go. She's unattractive. That's what she's saying there. She's saying she's unattractive, or she's saying it doesn't matter if you're that unattractive so long as you're serious and going to take care of her. Looks matter, but what's on the inside that counts. I'm sorry. You're 24 and a mother of 2. Not all of a sudden are you like dating from the 1980s. No. Not too often you find both nowadays. Yeah, right. She says, I'm sarcastic at nature, so a sense of humor is a must. Must love kids. My Instagram won't connect because it was connected to my old one and I don't know the info. Of course she doesn't. All right, let's move on to the last one here. She's 20. Now I don't have a photo with this one, but it doesn't really matter. It's all the same. The pictures change, but the story remains the same. She says, do not message me saying, what's up? I am not your homeboy. So it is up to you, gentlemen, to be creative when you reach out to this young lady. Don't just say, what's up? Entertain her. Be funny. Be interesting. Be creative. Notice she doesn't ever, this is the girl that will never reach out to you. Never in 100 years will she ever message you. Because that would require effort, and she's a princess, you see. She says, if you're on here just to F, then don't bother wasting your time. Oh, no. If the dude's just on there to get laid, he's not wasting his time. And if he says, again, if a woman says this, many times she's saying, look, this has happened to me too many times. I've been on this dating app, and I've gone out with a lot of these guys, and they've banged me, but then they didn't date me, and they ghosted me. So now I'm saying to you guys not to bother wasting my time because it hurt my feelings and it made me feel bad. She says, please don't ask me where I work. Just know that I am an RMA! Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. Oh, and above, if you're on here to waste my time or F me, then and don't bother wasting your time. Exclamation mark, exclamation, exclamation. Okay, so she's an RMA, but don't ask her where she works. If you don't message me, then we won't ever have a conversation. That's what I was just literally saying up above. She will never message first. And you know what happens if you do happen to match her and you do message something and she deems it not funny and or witting and or humorous and or creative enough, she will never message you back. And then you'll reference her dating profile and you say, hey, you said on your dating profile, if you don't message me, then we won't ever have a conversation. I literally messaged you and you didn't message me back. WTF is up with that, and then she'll unmatch with you. Because again, it's her choice. You have to provide. You have to show that you're the one worthy of her. Because again, these are rules for you to contact her. That's all this is. She says, I don't have kids and not into talking to anyone with them. The child isn't the issue. I don't need any baby mama drama. Okay, so like I get her saying this is my preference. I'm not into talking with anyone with kids. Like I get that. Okay. But men are shamed all the time for doing the same thing. But that aside, I have a feeling the fact that she's worried about baby mama drama, I have a feeling somewhere in her past she hooked up with a dude that had kids and she got in with them baby mama drama. Like here's the thing, if you ask me, hey, will you fly in an airplane? I'd be like, yes. I have no fear of flying in an airplane. If every airplane I ever got on crashed, and like I was in 3 accidents, 3 airplane crashes, and then you were like, hey, we need you to travel for business, and I was like, I'll travel anywhere, but I'm not flying ever again, ever. I don't do planes. There's a reason why you put that emphasis on that. She got caught up in some baby mama drama, I guarantee you. She says, do not try defending the situation. It's not happening. Prefer somebody 6 feet tall. Of course she prefers of course she prefers someone 6 feet tall. They always do. Guys, thank you very much. I'm going to put this over on Rumble. If you haven't yet, please, it's Better Bachelor, all one word. So just if you go to, let me bring it back up here. If you go here, up on this little drop down for channel and or video, just do channel and then search Better Bachelor, one word. Do a little searchy search, and I should come up right there. It says I have 1,571 subscribers, but for some reason, when I go to the video page, it only says I have 9 subscribers. So I don't know what the hell's going on with that. When I merged it with Locals, something screwed up with that. Live streams are going to happen on Locals. I might do some on Rumble, just because I'd like you guys to be able to super chat. They don't really have super chat on Locals. So I'll probably do live super chat type streams on Rumble. Not going to happen on YouTube. Because like I said in the beginning, YouTube is legitimately like keeping my channel from growing now. And if you didn't see that part, go back to the beginning of the video and you'll get it. And you know something? Hey, I'm not angry. Like, I'm not angry at YouTube. I knew they were going to do this. I'm not whining about it. It is what it is. And maybe you could even say, hey, Joker, maybe just people are bored with you and want to watch some other content creators. That's okay, too. But it doesn't mean that I'm just going to shut up and, like, not try to put my stuff out there for people to find it. Maybe I go the way of the dodo bird. No big deal if I do. Guys, thank you very much. If you're just a member here on Locals, please consider supporting. It's $5 a month. That is literally less than a cup of crappy Starbucks coffee. If you do the year long for $50, it comes out to be like $4 and what, 10 cents a month or something like that. Please consider supporting me directly. That helps me when YouTube does mess me up, and it also helps me when keeps me from having to do sponsor products and all that stuff. I don't like doing that. I do not want to do sponsor products because I don't want to sponsor anything that I do not like. And now if Glock or Sig Sauer or something came up to me and like, hey, will you talk about this? I'd be like, you betcha, I like that product, but I'm just not going to do, like, hey, let me talk about this phone game that just came out, because I don't play phone games. They suck. I'm a computer gamer. I'm a PC gamer. It doesn't happen. Guys, leave comments down below this video here on Locals or YouTube or Rumble or wherever. Leave comments if there's specific topics you'd like me to talk about, or links. On YouTube, if you leave a link, YouTube yeets the comment away. But on Locals and Rumbles, leave a link to stories you'd like me to cover or whatever. And yeah, we'll have some fun with it. Just because YouTube's having a fit doesn't mean that I'm going to change the way I do it. And again, thank you very much. We're going to do the game streaming very soon. Again, I'm probably going to do Valheim some more. I think there's a couple other games coming out where you can do a local server with 8 people. I now have a desktop computer and a laptop, so my video streams will be good. My game streams will be good. We'll get together and do some game stuff. We'll figure it out. I've just been super busy with my family. Again, my dad's going through some struggles, so family first. But this weekend, I'm going to do a video stream, a movie stream of The Thing. And then I'm also going to do a stream probably of Bad Santa, and we'll do those streams for like this Christmas season, something like that. So, guys, that's it for me. This is Better Bachelor. I am Joker, and remember, dating right now, relationships, all of that has changed. We know it. They don't like us talking about it. They don't like us being aware of it. It threatens. They thought they had us fooled. They thought they had us tricked. They don't. We know what's going on. Now we're just going to play the game their way, and they're going to be angry about it. But, hey, it is what it is.